I built something that I believe in deeply. I priced it at almost nothing, and then only 3 people bought. In this video, I want to take you behind the scenes in the subscription arm of my business and show you what someone like me, who has a decent amount of marketing skill, who's built a $2.4 million online company, what does someone like me do in that horrible place where you have some buyers, but your product isn't exactly flying off the shelves? Let's get into it. If you have an offer that you know is brilliant, that you know is needed, and not enough people are buying it, what is the natural conclusion that you draw? What has the coaching industry taught you to think? Offer's broken, maybe your messaging's off, or maybe your pricing's crap, right? But in my experience of building a multi-million-dollar in this online coaching space, I'm seeing something different. And if I'm seeing something different, it might be because of the way I approach the diagnostic process. And that's what I want to talk you through in this video. So the first thing I ask is there signal? And by signal, I mean, did anybody buy? So if you have even a handful of buyers, that's signal. If people didn't buy, but they raised their hands, asked questions, or gave you positive feedback, or showed interest in some way, that's also signal. It could happen that you put an offer out there and got no signal, like absolute sound of crickets, right? Nobody bought, but nobody expressed interest either. There was literally nothing. If that's the case, then yes, you probably do have a positioning or a messaging problem. And we're not going to tackle that specifically in this video today, although having these tools in your back pocket is probably quite useful. In this video, we're going to talk about that limbo space where you have some buyers, but just not enough. Ask yourself, who bought and why? And of course, if somebody hasn't bought the actual product yet, they've still expressed interest. They've bought the idea. So it applies the same way. Here's something that I absolutely needed to remind myself of when this was all going down for me. You don't need 1,000 people. You don't even need 100 people. If you want to pay your bills, eventually you might need 100 or 1,000 people. But in this phase, you really just need the feedback from the people who did raise their hand. And that is incredibly valuable. So here's what you want to find out from them. How did they find you? Because this is going to help dictate your discoverability strategy. What is it that made them buy or raise their hand? Why are they expressing interest? And the last thing is, what do they really want? Now, how do you gather this information? This is very simple. You just send them a DM, send them an email. If you have their phone number, you can send them a text, or you can actually cold call them. I'm going to invite you to go a little bit further, because you might reach out to some of these folks and they may not necessarily reach back to you. So here's what you can do to stay empowered in the process. The first thing I want you to do is just look up these people online. Find their online presence. It could be their Facebook profile, their LinkedIn profile. Just Google them and see what you can find. Oftentimes, people will give you a huge amount of information that they're basically volunteering for free about what it is that's valuable to them, how they want to be seen, what is the persona that they're projecting out there. And then if based on your offer, you know what those pain points might be, right? Related to the persona that they're projecting. I have one last step that helps me connect dots that don't usually get connected. This particular flavor is probably what I choose because, as you can see, I have a slight book problem. So I think of the new folks who've sort of joined my ecosystem as my new friends. I look them up, I get a sense of who they are and what they're about. If they've answered my questions, well, then it's even easier because they're telling me in their own words what it is that they want from me. But then what I like to do is I like to visit with my old friends, which is all my books. So I'll walk over to my bookshelves. This is not a very scientific step-by-step proven process or anything like that. It's very intuitive. I will filter what I have now learned about my new friends through the lens of all my old friends, all the ideas that have excited me in the past, all the things that I've learned, see what catches my attention, and often fresh, interesting perspectives will come to me. I will now be able to reach back out to these folks with something genuinely valuable to them that isn't just like, hey, I want to buy my next step. Nobody wants to receive that email. But what you can do is say, hey, I was just thinking about you the other day and I had read this book that is so related to your work. I think you will love it. And then you give them a book recommendation. You take a photo of a page that has a passage that you know will totally resonate with something that they've said online and be like, oh my God, I read your thing and this made me think of you. And this is a way to build a genuine, useful, fruitful relationship that isn't just you sucking information out of somebody. The next question you want to ask, and it's question number 4, is where's the break? Because if you're getting some signups but not enough signups, there's always some kind of leak I confess that when I saw those super low signups, my impulse was I just wanted to get into my sales page and freaking overhaul that thing. I wanted to rewrite and change all the things. And this can become an endless loop. And this is where I got to practice what I preach. I have an entire lesson on this. In fact, 4 lessons that are related to each other in module 2 in the Clarity Collective, because you have to solve the right problem in the right order. And what I saw was crystal clear. For me, my conversion rate was actually pretty decent. My real issue was traffic. In other words, step 1, discoverability. Not enough new people were coming to the sales page to find it to then make a buying decision. If I had gone and tinkered with my sales page and rewritten the whole thing, would this have solved my discoverability problem? Nope. And that's why you can sometimes end up in an endless loop fixing the wrong problem that isn't actually the problem at all. Okay, so we've established that I have a traffic problem. I need more people to find my sales page in the first place. To solve traffic, your mind could automatically go to, oh, I need to run paid ads. And yes, you might need to, but I always like to start from the layer that's closest to me and then sort of work my way out, because it's very easy to just jump to ads, pay a bunch of money and find all the ways that don't work while your budget completely runs out. So what I like to do now is start closer to home. I have an email list that I've built over the years. I've done a really good job with this email list of building trust. I have evidence for it. My open rate are somewhere in the 40%-ish range, and on the high end are really freaking high. And what this shows is, yeah, okay, I'm probably pretty good at subject lines, but nobody has a 70 or 80% open rate from just subject lines. This is because people have built a relationship with me. They know that when they open an email from me, it's actually going to be valuable. Now, when I look at my email list, I see open rates, awesome. No problems there. In fact, I am cruising hugely above industry standard. Industry standard for an amazing open rate is 25%. So I'm doing really, really well on that front. However, my CTR or click-through rate is extremely low. This tells me that people are opening the email, but they're not taking the action. So what's the fix? I have a bunch of parameters that this video would end up being like 3 hours long if I walked you through everything that I check. I do all of this checking when I do a client flow map for people where I'm looking at all the different leaks and gaps, but I'm just gonna like fast forward you through what I found for mine. In my case, people loved the emails, people were reading the emails, people kept opening emails. So it was a compounded relationship built, but I had no urgency. My offer felt like it'll be nice someday and I'll buy this later. No big deal. There's no reason, there's no timer, the price is not going up. There's none of the typical internet marketing urgency markers. I didn't want to do fake scarcity. I just didn't want to do it. I don't want to just jam people into the collective and risk breaking the gorgeous culture that we've built. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I don't want to pretend that I'm going to raise the price because I'm not going to raise the price. It's going to stay $9. I want this offer to stay accessible to everybody who needs it. I was like, okay, if I'm not going to use a timer or fake scarcity, what are my options? In some cases, having actual urgency built in. And I did this with my client flow map offer, which I made a whole other video about. You can go watch how I nixed my free offer and I actually quadrupled my sign up rate literally overnight by charging money for something I used to offer for free and then having that price go up successively. But I didn't want to do that with this offer. It was really important to me to not do that. My fix on the Clarity Collective is to find new and innovative ways to demonstrate the value inside the collective. This actually challenged me to practice at the very edge of what it is I know about the online space and to really put all my creativity and curiosity and intelligence into play, which actually felt really good once I framed it that way for myself. So sometimes it's just this like helpful reframe can be really powerful. Now, what this means is that I can showcase some of the breakthroughs that are happening as a result of the work that we're doing. Like $9 a month, your messaging is suddenly so rich and so crisp, and you're like testing new ideas and getting feedback from the community in this safe space. I can share the clarity that's emerging as a result of what we do, like how people are seeing the threads of their work emerge. Instead of feeling scattered, you now have a coherent body of work and you've figured out what that core element is that ties it all together. I can give members access to some of the messy, sort of in-process things that happen in my own business. So for example, I actually recorded this video where I talk people through how I rewrote the free audit offer that flopped. I had a sales page for the free offer and I rewrote it for the paid offer because I needed to change the language. I also saw why it wasn't converting so well. Not only did I rewrite it and show you what I was rewriting and why, but I walked everybody in the collective through the way I noticed that there were leaks in the first place. Because the more you learn how to see things, the better you can do it yourself. I'm really challenging myself to stop using scarcity as a sort of knee-jerk response to, oh, not making enough sales? Take something away, make it urgent, trigger someone's nervous system. I think there is much more to be gained by leading with alignment and value first and actually practicing it, not just saying the words, but finding ways that work in real life. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm challenging myself to fill this void, the void that's opened up, and I'm saying, nope, I'm not going to use fake scarcity. I'm not going to just keep raising the price for no good reason or tell people there's only so many seats when actually it's just completely open. There's a void that's created when you take those tactics off the table. And it has been extremely fun and generative for me to challenge myself to find ways that I respect to fill that void. And those are the conversations that we're having in the Clarity Collective, because I think the world is really ready for something different, something that isn't this churn and burn, extract as much as you can, as quickly as you can, all the money and all the sales. Ugh, I'm over it. So now I get to challenge myself to embody and demonstrate, to genuinely show you. Instead of telling you that something is valuable, I get to show you what's there, and then you get to decide, is that valuable to you? This is my way of saying, I trust you to know whether it's right for you and if the time's right for you. If you want it, then you don't need to miss it because it's just $9 a month. Does that make sense? So I won't lie and pretend that there wasn't some disappointment or puzzlement in my own mind about like, why is this really obvious no-brainer offer not flying off the shelves? There was that moment. And I'm so proud of myself that I didn't shut down. I didn't cave to tactics that give me the ick. I also didn't just bail and say, fuck it, it's not working, so I'm not going to keep trying. I found this third way that made me more excited about the work, that made me excited to tell you about this and make this video for me, because I chose to fill the void with creativity and curiosity. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, I highly recommend you hit the subscribe button and like, and maybe leave me a comment. It will train YouTube's algorithm to show this video or videos like it to you more often. It also helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to get a little closer, there's a lot of free resources in the description. You can join my newsletter, see how I get those crazy open rates and what I do to build that trust. You can also join the Clarity Collective. It's just $9 a month, or work with me one-on-one. All of that information is in the description. I'll see you in the next video.